This time on Mess Monsters, rolled paper sculptures. Hi, it's Laurie from the art studio at Madison Children's Museum. Today's Mess Monster program, we're going to be making these really fun rolled paper sculptures. This is a very fun project for all ages, and your finished project you can have on a table to enjoy, or you could hang it on the wall because they turn out to be really interesting looking pieces. Today's project is made all out of scrap paper using a piece of cardboard for the base from my recycle bin and a bunch of scrap paper. Now you don't have to use colored and patterned paper. This project you can do with any kind of paper. You could use paper from the recycle bin, you could use office paper that's all white, or colored construction paper, wrapping paper, whatever you can find. The different thicknesses are actually really interesting to explore when we roll our paper to make our sculpture with. Now to glue our sculpture together, what we're going to do today is make a little tray of glue. I've used a recycled lid from a container, and the glue that I'm using today I like to recommend for this project. It's called tacky glue. You can get it at any craft or art supply store. The reason that I like it is it's got a very thick texture, so that means it doesn't drip when you use it, and it also sets really quickly, so it's good for little hands to use. Let's get started. First, I'm going to choose my piece of cardboard for my base. Oh, this one is blue on one side. I think I want to use the blue side for the base of my sculpture. Now, what we're going to be doing is taking these rectangles of paper and transforming them into a roll. Now this takes a little bit of practice, but practicing a skill with using your fingers for fine motor control is really great for children, and sometimes even if it's a little difficult, it's worth it to persevere until you get it. So I'm going to put my rectangle on the table, then I'm going to use my thumb and my forefinger, and I'm going to sort of bend over the end like this a little bit. Now I'm going to push it forward and use my thumbs and roll, roll, roll until I get to the end. Now you might come up with your own way, your own technique to roll your paper. That is just fine. You can experiment. Now when I get to the end, I like to squish my roll a little bit. This looks like a cinnamon stick. And then when I let it go, see how it stands on its own? I'm going to use this as the base of my sculpture. So I'm going to take my paper roll and I'm going to tap it in my glue and set it on my base, and it's ready to go. Now let's see what else we can add. I'm going to try a piece of paper that was cut a little bit at an angle and see what that looks like. Now let me try a different way of rolling my paper. I'm just going to have it up in the air instead of on the floor, the table. And I'm just going to roll it up in the air instead of on a surface, and then squish it when it gets to the end and let it go, and it makes a little tower like that. Now you can combine and arrange your paper rolls any way that you want. Sometimes it's fun to make a really low paper roll that's really loosely rolled, and then use that as a base to put another paper roll inside. So let me show you how we can do that. And I'm going to leave that one sort of open a little bit. Now let me find something taller. I think I'll do this one. All this rolling practice is really great for friends who are just learning to hold a pencil. Really work those muscles in your fingers. Now, one fun thing that you can do with your paper rolls is when you're done, you can squish them a little bit with your fingers into other shapes. So this one I'm pressing on the sides to turn my paper roll into sort of a square. And I'll stack it inside my yellow roll. So we can keep rolling and adding to our heart's content as we create our sculpture. And if you cover the entire surface of your square, you'll get something that looks like my finished one, which I think is going to look really nice when I hang it on the wall. so all the ends of the rolls will stick out. Now some children might want to use scissors so you can cut the paper to just the right size. I did all mine ahead of time, so I don't have my scissors handy, but a little cutting practice is good too, because your rolls don't even have to be perfect rectangles. This one started out as a slanted piece of paper, and then when I roll it and unfurl it, you can see it's kind of spirally looking, which I think looks really neat. All right, I think I'm going to add a couple more paper rolls to my sculpture. And then maybe you'd like to go gather your materials so that you could make one too. See, my cameraman said that pattern paper didn't look so great or didn't make any difference, but I think it looks amazing. And I like my pattern paper. So you can choose whatever you would like to choose to create your paper roll sculpture with. If you make one, please take a picture and share it with us here in the comments. I'll see you next time for another Mess Monsters.